Good morning and welcome once again to this week's version of the Post-University Business 411 Amateur Hour. Uh, One of these days I'll try to get some real quality video equipment and actually do something professional. But maybe it's better this way. Maybe I catch myself while I'm still thinking about something I've just done and it's fresh in my mind and it's something I want to get across to everyone in the class. What I'm going to start out next week with, and this gives you a little bit of a lead into it, we're going to start with a presentation by a gentleman by the name of Tim Brown, who's a prominent industrial designer and head of a design firm called IDEO. They've done some fabulous work in a lot of interesting areas. And what he's going to talk about is, in a very, I think, not indirect way, some of the things I've been concerned about is I've been reading the discussion boards and looking at the process and the progress of the projects. What I've been concerned about, as you know, as from what I said last week, I've been concerned about the idea of thinking maybe a little bit small. That we're not thinking strategically enough, that we're not really getting ourselves into a wide, expansive frame of mind. So what Tim Brown's going to talk about here is very interesting. He thinks that design has become small, that the design needs to get big again. And when I really looked at this video, I said, wow, I think my classes are going to get very annoyed with me. I think you're going to be upset that I didn't put this up 3 weeks ago when you were really just getting going on the project. And maybe this is going to help structure those projects, structure the thinking that I've been asking people to do in the discussion board. But Brown's idea that design needs to get big again, I think is very, very important. What he's really talking about to me is design systems becoming exactly that. Systems, ways of thinking for satisfying a need, not for developing a product. And you can see that in the way he talks about it. One of the things I always bring up at a moment like this, there's a commercial I once saw. Might even not have seen it, might have heard it. And the commercial was for a common everyday product that we all know and don't really think about too much until we need to replace it, and then we find it's very expensive, and we growl about it, we go ahead and do it, it's something we gotta have. We all drive cars. And I think the first thing you would ask somebody if you thought of it, you'd say a question like this: what stops your car? Now, I've asked the question, pause for a minute, you've all had a chance to think of your answer. And I'm going to venture that 99% of you said to yourself, as soon as I asked that question, what stops your car? The answer: brakes. Well, if you think about it, the way things work, your brakes don't stop your car. Your brakes stop your wheels. Your tires stop your car. Now, the best brakes in the world, the tires are bald and worn down through the tread, right down to the fabric. The car's not going to stop. So this commercial made the point that your brakes stop your wheels, your tires stop your car. And I began to say to myself, and I've used that example over and over again, now that's systems thinking. That's defining a system. What are you trying to get in the end? The experience of stopping, the reality of stopping, the reality of the cessation of motion. The brake designer wasn't really thinking of that. The tire designer wasn't really thinking of that. Well, I hope they were, but chances are we had a guy designing a tire. Are we designing a car in our projects? Or are we designing a company that's going to provide value? A couple of points that I think need to be made, and I think you really ought to consider that. That's kind of what I mean when I want you to think big. How does the whole picture fit together? What are you really trying to do? Where does my company need to go? So when I mentioned it last week, we looked at the thing that Steve Bolton did for us. And again, he pointed out the roadmap, strategy being the roadmap that connected vision to reality. That's what you should be working on, is the vision. Okay? But if you get bogged down in the vision, you can can spend hours and hours and hours and days bogged down in the vision. Don't let perfection stand in the way of good enough. You still got to come up with a roadmap of how you're going to get that vision to become reality. That's what I think we need to concentrate on. So that's one thing you really want to work on. Another way I look at it, I look at those marketing presentations we did about 2 units ago, and I had all that material about changing markets and the buying power that's concentrated in women and in older people, and decision-making differences between that and where we traditionally marketed. And I think I put on, might have actually put it in the discussion board, kind of an answer where it said, a bank robber was once asked, why did he rob banks? And he answered, obviously, that's where the money is. So why do you market to certain people, to certain groups in certain ways? Well, that's where the money is. Well, another part is to look at the whole system idea of getting to strategy in a very simplistic way. Just like saying, that's where the money is. Keep asking yourself as you get into these details and think, what problem am I trying to solve? And if what you're toying with and working with isn't moving you towards solving that problem, you're probably wasting your time. See, none of what we've talked about here is rocket science. None of it. It's nothing you don't know. It's nothing you don't do regularly. It's getting from point A to point B in a rational manner. What's the most effective way you can take to get there? Keep asking yourself then, what problem am I trying to solve? And if you're spending too much time on detail, you're spending too much time on refining visions, you're spending too much time on designing products, then you're probably not spending enough time worrying about how you're going to get to where it is you said you need to be. So again, I hope you find this a little bit edifying, a little bit helping you get along in the project and providing you some information that I think is worthwhile having in any event. So please look at this video by Tim Brown. I'm also going to put in some other things about creative decision making and innovation. Spent a lot of time last week in the discussion boards. The one thread that's entitled Innovation, Always. I'm going to throw out to you what really is innovation. We have some videos here by a gentleman who wrote some great books on innovation, Edward DeBono. And one of his premises is, if it doesn't create value, is it innovation? Or is it just new? Question you may want to think about, and perhaps I'll leave that one with you. So again, please make sure you continue the progress on your projects, keep working ahead, make sure your groups are working together. I've seen activity pick up, probably because we've only got 3 weeks left. I'm available to you to answer questions. I hope we get back to you fast enough, and get to me, as I say, anytime you have a question, I'll try to respond as fast as I can. If you need more guidance, let me know. I'm trying to work with you. Okay? Thank everybody for their effort. Thank you for putting up with my amateur videos, and we'll go from there. Thanks very much. Bye.